Hi everyone. Welcome to I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren, and this video is here to take a look at how this month's portal energy, working with the master number 11 in numerology, combined with the energy of the eclipses that have been happening. We had one lunar eclipse last month and a second solar eclipse paired with a new moon this month in June, and how this portal between our eclipses is working with the numerological number of 11 with the month of June to help open a portal for each one of us uniquely to move through as a more evolved, spiritually evolved version of ourselves. Now, I will take a look at each one of the signs and go into a special message for you to really take a look at what you will need to release to be able to walk through this portal that Spirit is kind of holding open for you to really see the next step in your evolutionary growth. And what does that look like? That looks like a higher level of emotional fulfillment, more ease and being authentic to yourself, the ability to work with your signs' unique energies in conjunction with your unique spiritual abilities, hopes, and dreams. So you can combine these two to really unlock the abundance that is waiting for you on the other side of this doorway. And before I get into the actual readings for you guys, you can click on the timestamp in the link below, in the description box below, to actually see the readings for your specific sign. But I did pull a overarching kind of another message for all of us as a collective for what we really need to release to walk through this portal energy of June, to be able to step in July into the best versions of ourselves, into the selves that are really going to prepare for the second half of this year to really take full advantage of the actualization energy of 2022, which is coming up, in which we will be able to really step into our seat of personal power, as long as we really work with awareness for the second half of this year to unlock our own unique abilities and to understand where they fit into the greater picture with everybody else's. So the message that came up was surrender to setting limits. And it says, it is healthy to set boundaries in relationships, practice expressing your needs, and remember that no is a complete sentence. And this is a hard lesson. This is one of the hardest lessons for myself to learn, and I am still in the process of learning this one. But surrender to setting limits means surrender the fear of having to say no, of having to be afraid to express what you really need. Because as we move forward into this next bigger version of ourselves, we're really going to become aware of what we need. And to understand that our needs are unique and different from the needs of everybody else. And that's a really core, I think, fundamental, I don't know if I'd say idea, but it's a fundamental perspective of really understanding that there are no two people on this earth whose needs are going to be exactly the same. And when we're talking about needs, we're talking about all aspects of our lives: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And so one person's perspective on what they need in certain areas is going to be very different from another's. And this is really about this month specifically bringing you back to what you need, bringing you back to the awareness of your unique abilities, your unique spiritual makeup, and the dreams and the desires that come with that. And those make up your needs. One person might have the ability to do something that requires a different set of needs. You know, somebody may have a very stressful job and they need more downtime on the weekends and in the evenings. Somebody may need more creative time because they they work in a creative field. You may need more alone time. You may need more time with interacting with people. It is all unique to us. There are people who need to focus more on their physical health and well-being because that actually transcends and moves through all their aspects of their life. When they look good, they also feel good. And they think good and think well. And so this is really about, I think, tapping in. This really, really highlights that element of this month, which is highlighting that number 11. And that number 11 looks like a number 1 and a number 1 side by side, really showing you the dynamic between yourself as a unique individual and the relationship to everybody else as their own unique individual, and understanding that it is okay to be your unique self. It is okay to express that. It is okay to have different needs in this person and to express those needs and to have those and to expect that those needs are met, as it is to respect that in everybody else and in your interpersonal relationships, and to understand that that is the dynamic that is constantly at play, and that you have to understand yourself before you can start to relate to others in a healthy, positive, and uplifting and elevating way. And that's what this month is pushing us to do. It's pushing us to come back to ourselves, to respect that we can set limits for ourselves. We can ask for our personal needs to be met, but we first have to understand what those are. And in order to do that, we have to understand ourselves. And then we can step through that door as a better version of that self. All right, guys, I hope you have a great month reconnecting with your unique self, reconnecting with all of those things that make you a special, divine being, a singularity among everyone else. And also that you see how in just getting back to being that best version of yourself and walking through this portal month with awareness, that in the coming months you'll understand that in just doing that, you are elevating the entire collective experience and truly being of service on a level that most of us only dream about feeling. All right, guys. Click on one of the timestamps in the description box below to see a very special message for your reading. I'm sorry, very special, for your reading, for your sign. All right, bye guys. I will see you later in the month for additional messages. Bye. Hi, all my lovely Libras. Thank you for joining us here for Libra Sun, Moon, or Rising, Rising, June 2020 reading. And this is specific to the new moon that is taking place on June 10th. And talking about what you will need or what you're being asked to release by the universe, by spirit, so that you can step through this new moon solar eclipse portal on the 10th and emerge on the 11th, harnessing the power of the master number 11, which is your connection between yourself and spirit, and being able to see through the portal into, basically through the illusion, to see a heightened version of your spiritual self. And you're being asked right now to release something as you go through this doorway, to step into this new heightened version of yourself so that you can receive the gift that the universe is trying to push you to have the ability to receive. So when you think of being able to take a gift from somebody, It's very hard to do that when your arms are already full. And that's why we have to work continually with the energy of release and surrender so that we can stay open and optimistic and be ready to receive as our external environment, the universe, provides us with opportunities to take on new things. And this can be new things in all areas of our life, not just spiritual. It can be taking on new aspects in our physical life, our mental life, or our emotional lives as well. In addition to that, we're going to take a look at basically what energy you're sitting with now, the portal between now and this new heightened version of yourself, the energy, along then with interacting with the triad of engagement down here. So we have a card for curiosity, courage, and contemplation. And the triad of engagement is a tool that I use in my private practice to help people engage their internal, authentic selves with their external environment. And then we'll move up into here, which is a final message from Spirit for you to basically show you why it's so important to make this release and to walk through this portal to be able to receive the gift from the universe so that you can start to more fully understand how this is a time that is going to unlock a part of your purpose and possibly passion, as well as illuminate and clarify part of your destiny. And when I talk about destiny, this is really one of those kind of crux energetic moments that don't come up that often in our lives. And what's interesting is that this is coming up in everybody's life currently. This isn't just for your sign, and this just isn't for like one or two planetary placements. This is everybody on a collective level is being influenced by the energetic movement right now, with these neat solar and lunar eclipses that are happening, the dynamic tension of these really interesting planetary alignments that haven't happened for quite some time. And it's happening and affecting everyone across the board. And so really what this period, this energetic push is kind of shaking all of us up to see is what is, basically shaking up our connection between our internal selves, free will, our ability to control from our own seat of action, which is making decisions and taking action from a place of authenticity, and how we interact with our external environment, which is what I see as destiny, which is what is beyond our control. And that is why we are being asked to release, because we are being asked to, on some level, make that understanding that no, we can't control everything. But what is within our control is to be able to release, to make the decision to release something on a spiritual or emotional level so that we can move forward and receive this gift. And then what is to come from that is then what we will see us being able to step into our destiny, being able to see the reaction in the external environment that comes from us making that choice to release and receive at the same time. So Libra, when I talk about destiny versus basically free will, your internal self, the way that I see when we are born under a specific sign or have a sign in one of our key placements in our birth chart, which for you is Libra. So whether you're watching for sun, moon, or your rising sign, you were born with this predestined to a certain extent ability. Libra, as part of the zodiac sign, holds with it special abilities that the other signs do not have. And so the zodiac I look at as more of a small analogy to the greater collective experience. The zodiac is more about the basic skill set that you can tap into at any time as being born under the sign of Libra or having Libra in some significant placement within your birth chart. But in addition to that, that will help highlight your own individual, unique spiritual gifts. And these are your abilities, these are your hopes and your dreams that are unique to you, which then you bring into the larger collective. And so there are times in our lives where we are being called by destiny to fall back and to remember kind of our birthright of the gifts that we were given specifically by being under the sign of Libra, to step up and to integrate those back into our life so that we can lead by example and allow others in the zodiac specifically to basically we fulfill our role in that zodiac, in the zodiac, so others can see, and then in doing so, our role in the greater collective. And what we then do by just living and becoming aware once again of this important side to ourselves, we are that living example for others to see by, to understand that aspect that they themselves were not given clarity on or were not given abilities in that specific area. So for you, Libra, what you were kind of born with as your divine superpower, your birthright, is to work with the energy of justice and balance and beauty, because you are a sign that's ruled by Venus. And you get to harness that energy of fairness and equality and balance more than any other sign in the zodiac. And this is your superpower. Now, it can have a downside as well, in that sometimes in being so fair and just, you have the ability to see all sides of a situation. And sometimes that can prevent you from taking your own authentic action, because you are bringing in you're basically considering everybody in your decisions, instead of just considering what you need and how you need to act to fulfill your needs in that moment. And that's not always a negative thing. And especially at this time in our, I think, collective experience, it's really important that we have those within our society that are focused on fairness and equality and hearing all sides and being able to take in that information and re-release it back to the world, the greater collective, from a place that also harnesses a sense of beauty, a sense of balance, of being able to take really opposing viewpoints and bring them into harmony. And that is your superpower, Libra. You really are able to step in and work with the energies of balance, harmony, equality, and beauty with ease. And sometimes we can forget that. And so this is what you're being reminded to step into. So whatever you're being asked to release here and step into is going to help you step back into that divine right of working with those innate abilities, which then is going to highlight something very specific for you as an individual. So to get into what I'm seeing here in the cards, right now with what you're sitting with, you have two energies here. You have the energy that you're sitting with on the one side of the doorway, which is right now. And we have the energy that you're sitting with if you move through the doorway. And currently, you have the Hermit on this side and you have the Three of Cups on this side. Now, the Hermit is a card of going within, of understanding that basically the answers you seek are within you, of reconnecting to your own personal light, of understanding that you can actually shine the light that you're seeking externally. You can shine that from within to illuminate without. And it's a card of pause and introspection. Generally, it's going to cause you, if you're sitting with the Hermit energy, it's going to cause you to kind of be a recluse from life. You're not going to, somebody who's sitting with Hermit energy is generally not the person going out and being the life of the party. They are looking within and doing that spiritual work to reconnect with what they need as a unique individual, rekindling that internal fire, and then understanding how they can then shine that light externally to be guided by as they move forward. Now, on the other side, it's the total opposite. We have the Three of Cups, which is all about bringing yourself out in an emotionally open way to be in conjunction with others, to have this support, to have this celebratory element, to feel that you belong somewhere. And so right now it's kind of like you're going through this kind of dark night of the soul, and what you'll get to on the other side is this ability to kind of rejoin life again. That's really what I'm feeling here, just intuitively. To have those people by your side again that you feel you can be open with, and that you feel that you can bring your emotionally vulnerable self out to them in a place of openness and security. And what I'm seeing here, so as you're sitting here reflecting, going within, reconnecting with your internal flame, you are holding back in your tangible reality. So you have the Four of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Eight of Wands. And together, these energies, what they're showing me here is that there is some type of either there's a communication coming through that is initiating some type of quick movement in your life, or that there's some type of initiation happening right now where there is some type of movement coming in. But because you don't want to shake things up, you don't want to disrupt the balance and stability that you are currently experiencing in your physical, tangible world. You don't want to move with this energy, because the moon denotes this element of the unknown, this element of things are in shadow. I have to, if I'm going to shake up my stability here, shake up the balance that I have, and as a Libra I'm kind of clinging to, if I shake that up in my physical world, I need to have some type of clarity as to what I'm doing. And with this card, the moon is asking, can you walk that path on faith? And you're sitting here holding back. This card, specifically in this deck, I always love, because it looks almost like it's a man and a woman having kind of that awkward conversation where it's almost like he knows he should either be proposing or it's like they know they both need to walk away from this relationship, but she's kind of looking down like, okay, well, we've said all we can say. Are you going to make your move? And he's kind of looking off into the distance, trying to ignore the fact that he needs to add something more at this point, that it's in his court to utilize his tangible resources and to take the risk to basically, whether this is because it could be a business deal. This could be that she came thinking that they were going to go in a partnership and he's holding back financially from making that investment, or she came here asking what's the next step in this relationship, and he knows he should put some money down towards a ring and propose, but he's avoiding it. Now, obviously, don't get hung up on gender. This could be role reversal, or two women or two men, or whatever it is. But the energy here is that you're sitting knowing, you've reconnected with yourself, you've gone within, you see that spark within yourself again. But whatever this new movement coming in for you is waiting, it's contingent on you giving up some of your resources towards it, whether it's you having to release the risk or release the fear associated with the risk of shaking up your financial stability or your home life stability, or you need to make this investment. Maybe you need to go back to school and you've been hesitating making this investment, or you know that you want to put money into this new business, but you understand that that is going to take away from, the current stability that you have now. Or you want to travel around the world, and that also requires investment. Or it could be something, even kind of what I was alluding to before here, that it might be that you are holding back from proposing to somebody, or holding back from going full steam ahead with a partner where you share the financial responsibility. And so what this doorway is asking you now to come into with strategy. So this is your portal here, and this is what Spirit is saying. Strategy. We're not coming in with this information and with this fast-moving energy for no reason. We're asking you to release your fear of investing in yourself. And we're asking you to release the fear that's associated with taking a risk, with disrupting this harmony and this balance. Because the number 4 really is about taking that pause because you've created that balance, you've created that structure, you've created the foundation. The 4 pillars is a very stable setting. But what happens is that if we get stuck there for too long, we don't get a chance to grow. We don't get a chance to experience what we're being called to experience as the next chapter, as the new. And that's what you're being called into, basically pass through in this portal, is being able to let go some of that stability that you have right now in the tangible world. And Spirit is saying, I'm going to help you with the strategy. I think sometimes, as I was saying before, Libra doesn't like to make that decision, doesn't like to dive in, because you want to get all the information. You want to have both sides. And that makes getting a strategy together very difficult, because you're seeing from this side and you're seeing from that side, and you're like, well, when I'm trying to do this, trying to map out my plan of action, it's hard because I could do this, or I could do that, or I could do this, or I could do that. And so it's it can be tedious, and it will hold you back in this place of, well, I'm just going to sit and keep thinking about it. Keep knowing that I have this spark, knowing that I'm going to keep just staying in this hermit energy, and I'm not going to do what I need to do, which is make that decision, take that risk, release that fear, and move through this portal, which then that portal is going to allow me to heighten my birthright ability, which is dealing with harmony, which is being able to take 2 opposing things and bring them together. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here with the Temperance card, is being able to step into the highest vibrational frequency of being able to take 2 opposing sides and bring them together. Because that's exactly what the Temperance card is. It's that divine presence of being able to take, basically fire and water, or fire and earth, or 2 elements, and bring them together to transmute them, to not even just balance them, but to transmute them into something new. And that's the beauty of this card. Now, on either side of this card, we have the 7 of Cups, which denotes opportunities, multiple opportunities for emotional fulfillment. And then we have the Devil on the other side, which represents the chains that we hold ourselves back by. And we blame on the external environment, but in reality, it's us that keep ourselves chained. It's the temptations, it's the negative thought patterns, it's the lack of a work ethic. The Devil in the tarot is associated with the sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn as a sign is not inherently negative. it's actually a very positive sign in that when you harness the energy of Capricorn and you harness the energy of Saturn, which is Capricorn's ruling planet, it's going to push you to see where your work ethic has kept you back, held you back from achieving basically your highest potential in all areas of your life. Whether it's in a career sector, whether it's in a familial sector, a personal sector, or even on a emotional relationship sector, where we might get into that place of I'll put only so much work towards something and then I'll give up because I'm not good enough. Or I will, work and work and work and work, and then I won't give myself the recognition for it. And so I hold myself back. I'm tied to the chains of low self-esteem. And what this is saying to me is that with the Temperance card in between the Seven of Cups and the Devil, is that this is the illusion, the card of illusion that we don't know what is going to be emotionally fulfilling for us. That we see a bunch of opportunities in front of us and we're like, ooh, well, that could be fun, and that could be fun, and that could also be fun. But in reality, you're not. In reality, there is only one option for you. And there's no one right option. It's that in this given moment, it is not about considering, like you can see this guy looks like he's like, well, this one has a ladder and this one has some water coming in. It's not about considering, again, kind of this opinion and that opinion. It's that when you look at a board filled with opportunity, there's going to be one that you're like, oh man, if I got a chance to do that, I'd feel like I won the lottery. And that's what you're being asked. This is the illusion. And what's beautiful about what Spirit is asking you to release and what they're going to be showing you here is that if you can release your fear of changing something in the tangible, to be able of releasing that fear tied with a little bit of loss of that stability, a little bit of loss perhaps of the harmony that you've created in your instability in your physical world. But you get to move with this energy, you get to move with whatever communication, with whatever is sparking you to have this kind of pulling through the portal. You're going to be shown how to see through the illusion. How to see through the illusion of what you've been telling yourself is holding you back. Between what you're not admitting to yourself you really want. And you're going to be shown how to temper these two things together, how you can actually stretch your wings, so to speak, reflex your ability of bringing harmony even to the most difficult of circumstances, and now heightening that by bringing these two aspects together and transmuting them into something new. So you're taking the suffering of your past along with the opportunities that are now and being able to bring these together to realize this is what I really want. This is, I've sat with myself long enough. And Spirit is asking for me to move through the portal. I can't just sit here any longer in this state of, I know I need to make a move, but I'm going to try to pretend like I don't have to. I'm going to try to pretend like this isn't, that I'm not the one that needs to pony up the money or pony up, taking action in some capacity. I'm going to hope that maybe she'll offer to pay the bill. But in reality, it's you. Because this is your destiny. You're being asked to walk this path on faith. And what Spirit is telling you is that we will help you with the strategy. You don't have to worry about that right now. It is not about making the plan. You don't have time for a plan. It's hard to make a plan when you're not admitting to yourself what you really want. So what we're going to do is we're going to help pull you through here. Make that investment. Make that decision to spend the money on going back to school. Make that investment and perhaps maybe offering your time to something. Make that investment with full faith that you're going to be able to be shown how to break chains that you've been sitting with, but how in doing so, this is actually elevating and heightening who you are. So the suffering and the pain that you've endured up until this point, and the weaknesses that you hold yourself accountable for, are going to actually be shown as coupled with you being able to actually admit to yourself, seeing through the illusion of opportunity to admit to yourself, this is what I really want. That what you're going to see as you bring those two together is something brand new. Is something that is going to allow you to come back into union with others. Is going to allow you to bring that appreciation for beauty and that ability to harmonize, and specifically right now in the collective experience to bring your ability to be that shining sword of justice, to bring fairness and equality and remind people of what that looks like from a true place of beauty. Not from a, I'm calling it equality, but I just really want to get my way. Because Libras, you don't do that. You suffer at the expense of making sure that everybody is taken care of, that everybody's needs are met, that there is true equality, and that is what you're being asked to step into, and you'll be rewarded. You'll be rewarded with feeling where your place is again, and being able to actually commune with others. And we come down here into the triad of engagement, which we start with curiosity. And curiosity is helping us transmute, actually, the negative aspects of our perspective, our perception of our external environment, which are fear of the unknown, which is, I don't want everything external for me to be out of my control. And so I'm going to try to avoid interacting with it. I'm going to reverse, try to over control it. And either way, you're not going to be successful. And generally, it will lead to a negative perspective or a negative outcome where you no longer are looking at curiosity towards the what ifs from a positive perspective. So this is about engaging with openness and receptivity and optimism towards your external environment. It's also the seat of what's kind of highlighting here what you need to release. And this says surrender denial. It says accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions. And I think that this is perfectly in alignment with what we're seeing here. It's surrender denial, that basically the ball's in your court. And also to accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. So yeah, you may have to, doubling down on investing in taking a course or going back to school. Yes, it may actually, there are going to be legitimate difficulties. It's not just going to be all butterflies and light and rainbows. Yes, the difficulty of this is that it might cause your family to have a momentary disruption in their financial balance because you're now allocating money towards something that fulfills your needs over the needs of everybody's. Or you are, denying the fact that going into partnership with somebody has inherent risk, that you can't control the other person and what they do, that if you choose to invest in this opportunity, that you're going in with the understanding that you can control your side of the bargain, but you can't control them. So you have to accept that that person and that situation exactly as they are. And you can't look to go into partnership with the expectation of controlling that other person, or trying to think, well, I'll change them, I'll invest with them, but I'll change them after the fact. It's like, no, you got to surrender that denial. And this can also be the denial of, your partnership. So let's say in a partnership, in a significant relationship, you maybe are the breadwinner in the family, or you have a specific role to fill, and now you want to change that. And you have to accept that the other person's reaction might not be exactly what you're hoping for. It might not be that they're going to say, oh, you want to go back to school, sweetie? Well, great. That's fantastic. I have no problem dropping $40,000 on that. And I have no problem, having to leave work early and change my routine to go pick the kids up from school. And it's like, unfortunately, that's not the way life works. Hopefully you do have some people in your life who would be supportive of you, but unfortunately at this time, you're not being asked to change another's opinion or to let that other person's opinion affect you. At this point, it's saying, no, accept that. Surrender denial that if you tell your significant other that you want to go back and invest in yourself and go back to school, surrender denial that they're going to be angry or upset, that their first initial reaction might be, what the F? I thought we had a deal. Or I thought it was my turn to go back to school. Or we finally just got ourselves to a place of financial stability where we've paid off all our debts and you want to have more debt? But you have to realize that you can't let that prevent you from elevating to the next step in your own evolutionary growth. And you can't expect to change that person's reaction. All you can do is accept that person's reaction and understand it and take it in, and then use your ability to be what a lot of Libras are, actually, to kind of step into a lawyer role of being able to really be able to express from a place, again, of harmony, of saying, I know, sweetheart, I know this sounds crazy, but I've thought about it. And here are the reasons why I need to do this for myself. And in addition, why ultimately this will help us. And I hope that we can, I'm really ready to listen to how we can make this work together. And that's what Spirit's asking you to be curious about, is to be curious about what happens when you fully accept that you can't make everybody else happy. That when you fully accept the reactions of others, the situation you're currently in, and to understand that you still have to make decisions for yourself. What will happen? What is the best possible outcome that could happen from that? And then we have go the distance for courage. And I think this is beautiful with strategy. This is really saying, go the distance. Have the courage to take action, to take continued action to get to this new goal. And Spirit will help you with the strategy. But you just have to make this first courageous commitment to releasing this need for security and harmony on a side that currently is limiting you from actually really being able to harness that energy and make it work for you. And so if you can take and have the courage to say, I'm going to keep going no matter what. Then in contemplation over here, we have listen, reach out, and find your center. And I think that this is perfect for areas of reflection for you. So as you move forward, to really, I love this card of listen. It says you have to be willing to listen if you want to really understand someone. Now is not the time to be offering advice. Now is not the time to be, now is not the time to be offering advice, but to be a compassionate listener. To listen fully and intently means to pay attention, not just to what's being said, but to what lies beneath the words. And it's beautiful in that as you're reflecting on the fact that you can't change other people's reactions to your choices. You can't change your current situation. If you want to go back to school, but you currently don't have any money, well, you're going to have to find a way to make that happen. It's basically, this is asking you, how much do you want it? How much do you want to follow the path of destiny? And can you walk that path on faith? And are you able to listen? Are you able to stop? And listening goes both ways. It's internal listening and it's external listening. And by being able to quietly understand and release this feeling of needing to have everybody agree with you or have everybody be on your side or to be 100% behind your plan, you can listen to, again, what they're saying, what their concerns are, to help you then be able to listen to yourself and to say, okay, I hear what they're saying. I'm going to take that into consideration as to then how I might be able to, in reflection, be able to see how, okay, as I'm making decisions for myself, how I can integrate that piece of information, how I can integrate perhaps that piece of constructive criticism, or how I can also not leave behind my loved ones or not completely destroy relationships with others, because ultimately this is about bringing you into union and harmony with others. And we have reach out. And I'm not going to read all of this all the way down, but the part of this that I really think is important for you right now is that it says, support is as much about the physical act of accepting help where offered as it is about the emotional benefits and learning that it's truly okay to accept support however it's presented to you. And I think, Libra, this is another aspect of really feeling support by the universe right now, to understand that you are being supported in following what you need for yourself. In addition to that, it's also important to be able to accept help. And in conjunction with listening, I really see this as there are people around you who probably are able to offer help. And yet you might, out of pride, or you might out of being so focused on maintaining the balance with everybody else, you're not tapping into these resources of people who are saying, I want to help you, Libra. I don't care about everybody else in your life. I just know you. My loyalties are to you, and I want to help you. And that it's okay to reach out. So you see here in this picture, there's like the peacock feathers that are coming out here. And so there is this element of sometimes we block ourselves off, we block our heart chakra off from receiving help from others out of a place of pride, out of a place of, I'm strong enough. I don't either want people to see my wounds, or I don't want to seem weak. I don't want to be a burden to others. And I think that's a big one for Libra, especially because you guys are able to see all sides and be so highly empathetic that sometimes you get stuck in your head and you get stuck in this place of, well, I wouldn't want to be burdened like this, so I'm not going to accept help when it's offered because I don't want to be a burden to somebody else. And you get trapped in your head instead of realizing and bringing that down into the emotional body of, but I would love to be in the position to help another. So in turn, if someone's offering, to help me, I bet they in turn would also love to help. And that's really important with then coming into this last piece of contemplation, which is finding your center. And finding your center is all about, who are you? At your core, if you sit quietly and you get down to the crux of who you are you? and reflecting on that. And the beautiful thing about when you ask yourself, who are you? You get a chance to look at yourself kind of outside of time. You get a chance to take a look at who you have been. You get a chance to look at who you are now. And you get a chance to look at who you want to be. And in bringing all of this together, you create this vortex of the perfect person, the destiny of yourself, this evolutionary growth of self, and this integration of all sides to yourself, of yourself through time. And so in understanding that, this is really going to, as you reflect on that, and you reflect on perhaps where you're not taking advantage of resources and extra help, to then bring this up into here, which is, okay, I'm beginning to see who I am, and I'm beginning to see who I want to be. And that's going to help me break this illusion that I don't know what's going to fulfill my needs. So you're going to be able to take these emotional opportunities, and you're going to be able to take the suffering that you've endured, and you're going to be able to take these two to kind of almost like, I'm seeing like the sun and the moon together. You're taking the darkness and the light. So the light of the opportunities and the darkness of the devil, and you're bringing these together to say, these are my opportunities. This is my opportunity. And now I'm going to share it with others. This is how I create my internal light. This is how I get to use my superpower of balancing and creating harmony between two opposing forces. And you're going to, in doing that, get to be an example to others in your life as to how you can take the dark and the light and create light that can be shared with others, light that others get to see by. And then Spirit is going to be showing you a little glimpse into your destiny here. So I'm going to read not the full description for this card, but they have a little intro paragraph that I think is a great summation. So you have number 32, the divine grace, the law of efficiency. And it says, it is time your life became easier. Amen to that. It is time for you to walk the way of divine grace with trust, simplicity, and acceptance. You do not have to try to make things happen. You can gracefully act without attachment and trust that all will be as it is meant to be. Surrender your struggles now as you allow life to serve you with love and kindness. This is the most efficient use of your energy and will lead to the best results. And I think that's great. I love that you can gracefully act without attachment and trust that all is meant to be. And that's really what this is focusing on, is that you still have to act, but the energy is with you. There's this push of forward movement. It's almost like you just get to jump in that stream and the current's going to carry you, but you have to be willing to make that jump. You have to be willing to leave something aside in the physical world, whether that's people behind for the moment. It doesn't mean that you actually have to leave your family behind or leave your coworkers behind. It can simply mean that in this moment, you're choosing to leave their needs behind for just a little while, putting their needs aside so that you can focus on your needs, and to come from a place of taking action so that you can dive into this beautiful transmutation of the dark and the light within you, to step back into that one cup that's going to bring you emotional fulfillment, and to create the light that is now going to be able for you to share with others and for you to guide them by. I love that there's this image of these people, these three women looking up at the constellation in the sky, and it's like that you almost are going to become this guiding light to others. And you don't have to do anything more than jump into the current. Make the commitment that you know you need to. Don't fool yourself into thinking it's going to be easy per se, meaning that everybody's going to just jump on board and be like, great, here's the, deed to the house, or if you want to go back to school, it might be a little bit more difficult than simply just paying for something. It might be that you actually want to go to the school, but you actually have to go through the admissions process. And so don't fool yourself that you're going to actually have to take action. And that's where the courage coming with Go the Distance is saying, just keep taking those actions. Just keep following what feels right. Keep swimming with the flow. Keep following the law of efficiency. And as each thing comes up, the universe will show you the strategy. The universe will show you at that time, it'll give you that little piece of information to show you how to navigate the admissions process. It'll show you how to apply for the grant that you need to be able to balance out the fact that you don't have any more money to invest. And as long as you keep going, then what you'll get is not only for yourself going to be of incredible service. I mean, to be able to work with emotional fulfillment that actually creates and generates light, to be able to work with the darker aspects of yourself from a place of emotionally fulfilling optimism and being able to share that with others, and to become that beacon of example of showing the harmony that can come from taking those two sides to yourself and being realistic in how you can work with them, that is going to be so integral to be of service to others. We need that as an example right now. We need the example that you can take two opposing, whether it's light and dark or just viewpoints, and bring them together to create something new, something fresh, something that will shed a light in an area that you as an individual are meant to shine a light on and bring harmony to. And to show how beautiful that harmony can be when you bring those two opposing forces together, and why it's so integral, why you, Libra, as the master of balance, as the blind lady justice holding the scales, why it's so important to have faith that ultimately there is ultimate balance to everything, that there is a reason, a divine purpose as to why there is light and why there is dark, why there is this viewpoint and why there is that viewpoint. That is what you're going to harness and be able to express the beauty of. All right, Libra, I am so excited for you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you who are Libra in one of your major placements, because you are so important to our collective experience, and more so now than ever. I hope that you have the strength to be able to let go of what you are, afraid to let go of, to be able to start the journey towards this very important path of destiny for yourself and for us that will end up helping all of us as well. And I hope to see you back for July's reading, and just have a wonderful rest of your month of June. Bye.